Women in Estate Agency. Today I'm joined by the wonderful Clare Yates, who is a thought leader and part of the Women in Estate Agency movement. Clare, we are filming this in September 2024. It will be coming out later this year. Tell me where we are with the Facebook group. Tell me where we are with 2025 conference. Talk to me about any important news just for the ladies and gentlemen out there in UK estate and letting agency. Talk to me.
Okay, very, very exciting. So we've nailed a date for next year, first and foremost. So our conference will be on the 6th of March, 2025. We have secured a venue, but we haven't got tickets on sale yet because we're just trying to see if we can keep the cost down
And
as low as
that's
possible.
somewhere in central London.
It will be in central London,
Lovely.
Absolutely. The second thing to say is the Facebook group is growing and is seen and recognised as being such a safe place for female estate agents or people connected to the industry to go and talk about stuff that matters to them. For those of you who are not a member, and you want to come in, you have to be female to join. It is a stipulation for the privacy, but also for some of the intimate matters that we talk about. The second thing is there's no promotion or advertising. If you see anybody trying to promote or advertise to you, then you need to report them. And the third thing is that it's growing now to, I think the latest number I looked at, we were up to 4,000 members in Facebook.
Whilst I've not a member of the group, I have lots of friends who are, and the wonderful thing about it is that my understanding is that it's a safe place to vent.
Yes.
Stuff that you wouldn't necessarily see in when I say normal face, you know what I mean, the estate agency face,
Yes.
It's stuff that everybody thinks the problems they have, they're the only person that are going through it, but by sharing it with other people who just happen to be all female, then, because again, if it's a safe place, you're probably going to be a bit more open, a bit more vulnerable, aren't you? To have 4,000 people, that, if you look at all the Facebook groups, there are it's probably one that's up in the 4s. Most are 2 and 3s.
So the first.
So well done.
Yeah, well, we're so pleased at the way that it's done it, and it's so supportive. So there was a post that went up last week, and I have to be very mindful of the confidentiality, but a lady that's reporting unusual behaviour by a male client who has decided that he wants to do some coaching or something, and you can quite clearly see from the comments that he's sharing with her and the way he's pursuing this correspondence that it's right on the edge of coercive stalking behaviour. And she's asking, has anybody else experienced anything like this, and what should I do? And we were all there just going, first of all, this isn't right, and well done you for talking about it. That's one. Another one is about, I'm feeling really low. It's been terribly difficult. I've had this happen. I've had that happen. I'm really struggling to have the get up and go. And somebody will say, DM me and I will be there and I'll talk to you. There are people just standing up and supporting. So it's a place where we raise each other up. We don't take each other down.
Because you would, so if you had a men-only group, you certainly wouldn't be seeing posts like that, would you?
No, it's normally bragging, if anything, rather than the opposite way around. And because you talk about this frequently, about things like, your market share and how successful you are. This is completely the opposite. In fact, it's very okay to be humble, because this is the very thing that we've been missing, is people telling us, I think you can, and don't worry about where you were. We've all been there. So the very exciting thing that I can tell you is that Rightmove have agreed to a multi-year, multi-layered partnership with Women in Estate Agency for 2 specific initiatives plus sponsorship of the conference. So the first thing is, I, along with a lovely lady called Jo Bourne, we will be running. We're going to be running leadership training days. They will be heavily subsidised, and they're designed to encourage the female leaders of the future to stand up, and we want to make it affordable and accessible. So that's coming soon, and Rightmove are right behind that, no pun intended, but they feel very passionately this is something that we've needed to do. And the second thing is our advocate programme of events. So everywhere within the country, we know that London's not a possibility for some women. So we're taking events to Leeds, to Manchester, to Birmingham, and so on. And Rightmove agreed to sponsor those events to enable people to hire our advocates to hire a venue and make something possible. So, and then on top of that, they're also sponsoring our conference again for next year as a gold sponsor. So we're thrilled to bits with that. It gives us the security, and no other group has ever been able to do anything quite like this before.
Well done, Rightmove. Any final thoughts?
Yes, Chris. I know that you snuck off to the pub at lunchtime at our event in March. And you also know that I know this because I went and spoke to you about it. And I told you off, didn't I?
Yes, you did.
And I said to you, why do so many people think it's okay to leave the pub, leave a conference to go to the pub halfway through when there's so much more to do? So, Chris, why did you leave our phenomenally brilliant conference to go off to the pub?
I leave most conferences at lunchtime
Why?
because I get more done for myself in the pub than away from than the conference itself. So it's nothing personal.
I took it personally.
I'd like to apologise and say sorry to you, but every conference I go to, it's very rare for me to be there in the afternoon. Now, don't get me wrong, my position in the industry means that I like to liaise with different people, and I quite often do that in a social setting away from a conference.
So you're at the conference more for the networking than for the actual speakers?
Yes. If I would like to think with doing things like the sofa chats and me flying the flag for women in, not the women in estate agency, but generally women in estate agency and people telling the stories, is that I ask you to judge me on my whole record. Not the fact is that I see conferences as a networking opportunity, and the people that I wish to network are away from the conference. So therefore, if I go to Property Mark, it's very rare that I'm ever actually physically in the room. I'm in the hall. I'm talking to people in talking to people who are at stands, and at late lunch I decided with a number of other people I wanted to network. We decided to go to the pub, which included quite a number of women.
Yes. But would you say there were more men than women?
It was probably a 70-30 split.
Yeah. So this is probably where I have the biggest challenge, because I actually really wanted to show the men who come to the conference the first time, and you in particular, because your opinion does matter and I do see you as a supporter. I wanted you to see how different this conference was from the sort of things you've been to before, and to demonstrate our commitment to not providing a same old event. The whole thing was a celebration, not just one morning. And for me, the shame is that you are a compelling person to network with, and so a magnet for those people who may have stayed had you not had the attraction of the pub.
How can I be a magnet if I'm in a theatre-like environment? I'm not able to network in that situation. I live quite a distance away from London. Everyone is at a conference for a different reason, okay? And as I said, if me going up late lunch to the pub offended you, I'm sorry, but I do that at every conference because I see it as a networking opportunity. Maybe as an idea that if there's something that's compelling, the session should be recorded and listened to, say, on a podcast or something like that. Hey, you could even, for those that can't even go to the conference, you could record those and sell them at a reasonable price, so that people get those that can't afford to go to the conference. But then you're going to turn around and say, have I taken a ticket that shouldn't have been there?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I do feel that we had people who were disappointed that they couldn't afford to go. The overall cost of the day out, the childcare, the train ticket was too much, and so I didn't take a
ticket off someone that wanted it though.
No, you did pay, and
pay.
that's great. But I would have loved you to donated even half of the cost of the ticket to somebody who could have gone. I just feel very strongly that this event it's new in its type. We're trying to change the mold. We're trying to create something that's highly motivational, highly uplifting and supportive. And the men in the audience, and this is why I asked you about the number of people, the men in the audience help us to bring the change that we're looking to bring to the industry. And so if the men in the audience have left halfway through, then it feels very, very sad to us that we're not speaking to the people we want to talk to.
Maybe it's compelling on you to create content that men potentially don't want to go to the pub
This
and
is
network.
true. So I have an idea for you. As a gesture, I'm going to bring you a cold box full of beer so you don't go to the pub at lunchtime and you stick with it right to the end.
I'm game for that. I'm game. If you're, I'm game for that.
Brilliant.
Okay.
I'll make sure you don't regret it.
You heard it here first, ladies and gentlemen.